Create advanced image slider animation in Figma. In this video, we're going to be talking about how you can easily go ahead and create any type of image slider animation that you want in your Figma. And obviously you can use it out in your marketing schemes. You can apply it in your e-commerce or any other advertising scheme that you're putting up for. So to start things off, what you're going to be doing is you're going to come over to your figma.com. Now in Figma, what you're going to want to do is you're going to open up a new design file. Now, I already have a design opened up, so I'm going to just walk you through on how you're going to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete all of that. And to start off, first of all, you're going to set dimensions for yourself. So to set dimensions, first of all, we're going to come here to our frame. So in your frame on the right hand side, we're going to click on desktop and get a desktop frame like this. Now over the desktop frame, what you're going to do is you're going to add a rectangle, okay? And you're going to make sure that this rectangle matches the fields of the frame. There we go. So once the rectangle has fitted into the frame, what you're going to want to do from here on out is you're going to go over to fill. You're going to go to your images and you're going to go ahead and swap images. Now you're going to add the images of your choice into the design. So I'm going to go ahead and do that straight away. So I'm going to add the first image. There we go. Then moving on, I'm going to go ahead and copy paste the rectangle at least 4 to 5 times. Okay, because we need a lot of images for ourselves. So there we go. Now you're going to go ahead and just simply change the images for other swapped out pictures. And just as they're changed, I'm going to keep on changing the rest of the 2 rectangles as well. And obviously once these images are good and changed, what you're going to want to do from there on out is obviously we're going to go ahead and make our slider buttons. Okay, so let me just go ahead, add this image, and then we're going to add one final image over here. There we go. So once these images are in our design, what you're going to do is you're going to start playing with their opacity. Okay, so we have this image, we have this image, and we have this. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take the opacity to 0 for all of them. Let me just set this along. There we go. So you're going to set the opacity to 0 for all of them except for the first image. We have this, and do that. Now, here we are. Only this image is going to have the opacity of 100. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring in your pen tool. From your pen tool, we're simply going to make a little, box type thing over here. Okay. And once this is done, what you're going to do is you're going to go into fill. And in fill, we're going to obviously choose a darker color like that. And once that is done, you're also going to make sure to go ahead and blend that into your design. Okay. So you can blend it in through different ways. You can also lower down the opacity if you want to, but obviously we're going to want to go with something much better. So I'm going to go into layer blur. And once we have gone into layer blur, you're obviously going to choose the level of blur that you want. So just choose as much blur as you want to go with. I think this much should be fine. And then once this is done, you're also going to play with the opacity a little. There we go, just like that. Now once that is done, what you're going to do, you're going to make sure that this desktop vector layer is right above this. And what you're going to do is you're obviously going to set this accordingly to your design. So I have this set over here. Obviously you're going to set it around your design like this. There we go. I'm going to push it in like that. And then once that is done, you can bring it down here. And there we go. That looks pretty decent, looks pretty standard. And even if you zoom in, it's going to look like that. It looks pretty nice. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start adding your texts. Okay. So your texts are going to be dependent on whatever you want. So let's say I'm going to write transform. Okay. There we have transform written in. So once you write in, your regular text, what you can do on from there is you can obviously start adding different fonts into it. You know, you can start adding different shapes and sizes over it if you want to as well. And obviously that will make your design pop off much better, look much better, and obviously have a relatively better look. So let's say I'm going to go with a pretty straightforward design like this one, and we're obviously going to increase the size of it as well. So you can obviously come over to its scaling. You can also change the difference in the spacing of the text if you want to. So once we've done that, you can basically choose the text, make it a tad bigger if you want to, or you can even choose the font size from this section. Let's say I'm going to make it this much, and there we have it. So we have transform, and you can obviously copy the layer, paste it. So let's say I have 4 layers over here, right? And I'm going to have this one over here as well. And we're going to copy paste it once again to add this layer over here. There we go. So once we do this, you can change the text like, let's have transform, we have reform. Let's add edit. And then let's add another piece of text right over here. Okay, so I'm going to name this, let's say, retro, something like that. Now, once this is done, this is the point where you're going to start adding your image carousel. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the transform image right about here. Okay, and we're going to start adding our image carousel. So here you're going to come over to your boxes, and I'm just going to add the individual sets of boxes over here. And we're just going to add one more box right into this design. There we go. Now, once these are added, you're going to start filling your images into this. So again, to fill, you're going to come here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to swap our images. So let's say I'm going to add this on that. Then you're going to come over to the next rectangle. And in the next rectangle, as you can see, there's another fill image added. And you can move over to the other rectangles like this one. Come over to the fill. We're going to click on the fill design. Go over to image, click on swap image. There we can add this one over here as well. Simply wait for it to load in. And once it loads in, you can move over to the final rectangle. Here we are. So we're going to go into fill, go over to the images, click on swap image. And once you click on swap image, finally add the image that you want to. And once you are done with that, there we have it. So now you have your images. So how do you create a slider out of these? Let me show you. So first of all, we're going to add this image over here. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure that this design is above all of it. And once we add these images, you're obviously going to want to make sure that it's set around like this, that clearly the design knows that this rectangle that is about to come right in front of it is obviously relatively going to be a smaller rectangle because it's next in line for preview. Obviously, we're going to keep it a little tightly packed, and I'm going to bring this in over here, keep it smaller as well, and we're going to make sure to glide it in just a little bit. In the case it doesn't glide in, you can simply make it smaller and budge it to the edge like this. There we go. So just like this, you can make a slider image. Now what you're going to be doing is you're going to basically make copies out of this one page. So there's one copy of this, and we're simply going to make another copy right around here. Okay, and obviously we're going to make sure that the copy that we create, yeah, there we go. So they're, clear identicals. This, yeah, we're going to keep it real close. Now what we're going to do from here is we're going to make sure that this disappears and this is the bigger image over here. All right. There we are. And then this glides in from here. Obviously make this a bigger image now. There we go. Just keep it a little closer. And once this is done, you're going to remove both of these. And we're going to have just this one image over here that is going to open up like this. And once this is done, what you can also do is, instead of transform over here, we're going to have reform. There we go. And instead of this over here, we're going to add edit. So once you add this for yourself, you can also change the images in the background that you might remember that we added. So for this over here, let's say we are in desktop 2, right? So over here, you can fill in the opacity for that. There we go. There's the image changed. And for this over here, you can go ahead and fill in the opacity for this. There we go. Now, how do we actually make the carousel move? So for that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a prototype. So for the prototype, first of all, we're going to connect some dots. So we're going to bring this to this. And obviously, you can do it on drag. There we go. And we're going to do the same with this. So again, do it on drag. And once this is done, same obviously happens to the foreseeable image that we have in front of us. And you're going to do the same prototype for this. On drag, it becomes this. And, that is, pretty much the standard that goes through. And you can also go ahead and edit the drag animation if you want to. Change its duration, or even create a custom bezier. So I generally like to keep it like this. I'm going to do the same for this one over here. We have custom bezier. And scroll it back, bring this in the front. There we go. Now what you're going to do is you can actually go ahead and see the flow. So if you want to go ahead and see it, click on play. And obviously Figma is going to open it up for you. It's not going to be the cleanest right now, but obviously you can make it as clean as you want as you go along in the design. So obviously we're going to wait for the presentation to open up, and look at that. We slide it and it basically goes ahead and presents a carousel to us. So, pretty standard stuff, pretty straightforward. And that is how you are going to be making an advanced image carousel in your Figma in the easiest and most simplest way. Let me go ahead and show it to you one more time. Just like this. We're going to go in the flow model, which is going to be opened up over here. And once the flow model is up and open, simply drag it like this, and look at that. It drags the design along. Pretty cool, right? So that is pretty much about it. Thank you for watching this video all the way till the end, and I'll be seeing all of you wonderful people in the very next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.